good to see you today, folks. We're here to talk about video games. I hope that's exciting to you. I hope you feel pumped about that. I'm pretty pumped about it, because it's episode 42 of the Andy B Show, a video game podcast for grown-ups and adult gamers. And we got a packed show today. Absolutely packed. We got rumors. Is there another God of War game coming out? We got this new Xbox, which is basically just a rumor. If I'm honest, like, we can cut that segment right now. It may not even come out. Pokemon Pokopia came out. People are talking about it. The reviews are in. It's impressive. Nintendo had an Indie World showcase you might care about. A couple little games in there that I thought were neat. We'll call them out. Hey, Marathon is still generating some heat, which is like a stamina-related inside reference. They've had a little bit of controversy. I've been playing it. We're going to talk about it, but we're not going to start there. There will be some Marathon talk, but it's not the whole show. Relax. I can only have so many show titles with Marathon in the name. We got a couple of games that I thought were neat that came across the old video game desk here. The Eternal Life of Goldman, which is like a hand-drawn Metroidvania or search action game. Screamer, a anime arcade combat racer, because it's the year of the combat racer. And then, a racer that people care less about, I think. Will sell more, care less about Forza Horizon 6. So there's a lot going on. Stick around. It's going to be a great show. It's going to be a full show. So buckle up. We're going to get going. I mentioned that we're going to start because I think it's the year of the combat racer. We've had Carmageddon. We've had a whole episode, it feels like, about Star Wars Galactic Racer made by the Burnout folks. And what's next? Like, there's a game that comes out very, very soon, and it's called Screamer. Screamer. We saw Screamer at the Game Awards, and it is a anime racing story-based video game that's all about drifting. And it's kind of like, this might be a bad comparison. When you watch like the 4-minute like overview trailer, it kind of feels like it's the anime Overwatch of combat racing car games. Is that too niche? Like, that's why Forza is going to sell more, like way more, because it's just too niche. That's who is into anime and car racing game and drifting and story-based modes and characters that adjust how the gameplay goes. You could set up a team of characters actually in this game. So I don't know a lot about the story. Apparently Screamer is a game that's been around since the 90s. I think this is like a reboot of like an old game. Frizzeel 33 over there on Threads like put me back on to the fact that this is a new game that's an old game, but they're bringing it back. It looks super modern. It is a twin stick racer. It's got to be more than twin stick though, because you got gas and brake, but you steer with the left, but apparently you have drift control on the right stick, which kind of gets me jazzed. Like, I'm pretty excited about drift control being a whole stick. Drifting is very difficult in many video games. I still recall just being in awe of the drifting videos that I would see for Gran Turismo 3 that people would get onto YouTube. Like, how did they even capture the game video back then? It's so much easier now. But I would watch people do drift replay videos of Gran Turismo 3 from the PlayStation 2 over and over. They'd set them to different music. They have like drift music videos. Drifting ain't easy in a game. They make it look good and make it feel good for somebody that's not an absolute car maniac is a feat. So I'm kind of interested to see how that happens with this game. Yeah, they showed this trailer at the Game Awards, and they didn't put it in the last slot, so nobody thinks this is going to be a high guard and just have to shut down after a week. But it's mostly like a single-player game. There might be multiplayer, but the multiplayer they showcase in the trailer is you get your lead racer and pick one or two that follow up behind you. And so you kind of create a crew that have the like team synthetic, abilities that overlap and work together, because some of it's the racing and some of it's the fighting, because it's car combat. But not car combat like Carmageddon where you have like missiles and stuff. It's car combat like Star Wars Galactic Racer / Burnout, where it's going to be, smashing people, not shooting them from a mile away with a heat-seeking missile, which is fun. You could make a whole video game about that, and they did. It's called Carmageddon Rogue Shift. But yeah, this one looks real good to me. I'm interested. I think it comes out soonish. Sometime soonish. Let me see what the release. Oh, it's very soon. It's this month. It is March 26th, 2026 is when that game comes out. So that's pretty sweet, I think. Yeah. Screamer. Yeah, apparently the original Screamer was a mid-90s PC arcade racer by Milestone, which was then called Graffiti. This one has an anime aesthetic with 30-plus minutes of cutscenes by Japanese animation studio Polygon Pictures, with Troy Baker voicing a character. Can't get away from that guy, and why would you want to? Like, let's be honest. He's delightful. Yeah, Screamer's neat. I think we're in for 3 car combat racers this year. We got Screamer, already had Carmageddon Rogue Shift, and then I think it's in May. They're just spreading them out. How many car combat racers are hiding this year that are like out there that we just haven't heard about yet, I wonder? Yeah, I think in February we had Carmageddon. In March, we're going to have Screamer. And then I think in May, it's Star Wars Galactic Racer, if memory serves. Could be wrong. Look, there's a lot to take in. Video games are big. If I don't document it every week in this podcast, I'm going to forget. We'll all forget. Who else but the Andy V Show is documenting all of this for all of us? Okay. Nintendo had an Indie World showcase this week. It was only about 20 minutes. And there's so much going on this week, I didn't even watch the whole thing. I also have people that I like to kind of follow and see what kind of news they care about. So here's one. If you follow Gaming in Yellow over on Threads, they do these really beautiful like visual recaps. And I don't know how they do it. I don't know where the original pictures came from or whatever, but they did a little recap. And so you can kind of flip this. I would follow them if you care about this visual style. They do this a lot. So these are the announcements in the order they came off the Nintendo press release today. And I do want to focus on one of them, but I'll read them off to you. Like, what did Nintendo announce? Well, Blue Prince, the door opening mansion roguelike, is coming out on Switch, and apparently it's available now, according to this. Some game called Rotwood. Never heard of it. Mini Shoot Adventures. Put a pin in that one. We're coming back to it. Blighted. This says Blighted, but the name underneath it, the picture says Dead Zone Rogue. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. Dead Zone Rogue is like a dark sci-fi single-player roguelike first-person shooter. Did you get all that? Like, there's a lot to it. You can go look at a trailer for Dead Zone Rogues. I don't know if Blighted, and this might be a mistake on Gaming in Yellow's part as I look at the thread. The Midnight Walk, which is like a creepy, not hand drawn, but like a claymation art, basically. And when I start with creepy, it's usually not for me, and this one's probably not. Outbound, I'm going to guess on these games. Like I didn't see the trailer. Outbound looks like a camping RV, take your small bus around game, lightweight. Something called Ecombini, one store, mini stories. Looks like a little story-driven game. Mixtape, nothing but the hits. I think Mixtape is a another one of those. I was going to say Lost and Random, but that's not right. Story-driven game. Unrailed 2, Back on Track, My Little Puppy, some game called Ratatan, which has a good-looking art. Heave Ho, Grave Seasons, Woodo, Toem 2. I'm just reading off indie game names. There's Blighted again. There, it was a mistake. Blighted is a different game. And the one that I know about, Moonlighter 2, The Endless Vault. it's available 2026. This one's been stuck on like Xbox Game Pass and PC early access. I haven't had access to it. Well, I could have access to Game Pass, but then I'd have to plug in my Xbox, and we'll talk about Xbox later. So the one that I kind of want to get back to and focus on here, the one that like when I saw, if you're like me, you scan the headlines and you go, do I want to watch 20 minutes of a Nintendo Indie World Showcase? And if I do, okay, but what if most of those games like I don't know about? Maybe I don't want to watch the whole thing. What should I bother watching? Well, the one that we should all take a look at, I think, the one that I'm excited about, is called Mini Shoot Adventures. So Mini Shoot Adventures is a twin stick arcade shooting game. It looks kind of like a hand-drawn Geometry Wars, but there's a little bit of, it's not a single level. Like you're exploring the world. And it has that cutesy, I would say this kind of art style I've seen a little bit, it's a little bit hand-drawn. It's a little bit comic booky almost. But the gameplay is bullet hell. Like the gameplay, and I don't know if it's a roguelike. There's leveling up in the game. There's upgrades. There's things that you find. You find a secret room. There's 3 upgrades. You can only pick one. That's the kind of thing that makes it seem like roguelike to me. But there's dodging. I don't know if there's parrying any shots in here, but big bosses, lots of circling around them and shooting them with your tiny little ship, hence mini shoot. And you're on an adventure. They've named it correctly. So it says the console versions are all available now. That's on PlayStation. Obviously, it's on Switch since it's a Switch Nintendo-based indie showcase. Cool. So that's there. Yeah. That's the one that like made me want to go put it on the wish list, is Mini Shoot Adventures. Yeah, if you're following this show, you might be somebody that either cares about or has heard me talk about Marathon. If you can't get enough of me talking about Marathon, then you can go over to andyb.show. That'll take you to the Patreon. You could type in, all the way through to patreon.com/theandybshow if you really wanted to. I'm not going to stop you, but I made a domain so you could make it easier on yourself. andyb.show. And if you went over there, you'd see a new game chat series entry. And what you'll find on there is Marathon Live. Now, I stream this live on YouTube. The Game Chat series is an exclusive series that I put on Patreon for the subscribers. You can be a friend of the show. I see Dark Fever in the chat just said, hey, because we're streaming live. And Dark Fever's are my newest patron, by the way. I hope it's okay I call him out. We've got thank you for every subscriber, wherever you subscribe to me. But if you want to be a friend of the show, you're going to get some exclusive content over on the Patreon. This one I made a free post because I streamed it online, but I'm trying to do like one a week, like one game chat post a week is my goal. I won't make it all the time. But this one was like, hey, it's Friday night. I'm streaming Marathon and I'm going to explain a bunch of it, for an hour or so. And that's what I did. So you're welcome to go check that post out if you'd like. That stream's there. And if you subscribe, there's a bunch of other exclusive game chat videos that are like uploaded directly to Patreon. And if you've got a suggestion for one of those, something you want me to play, let me know, whoever you might be. But yeah, Marathon, I got to tell you, that is a video game. They made one. And so far it seems pretty good. I saw everybody likes to look at these Steam charts, like how many people were playing Arc Raiders, the extraction shooter that's similar in a way. It's probably a similar audience would care about it on Arc Raiders versus Marathon. How many people are playing Marathon? And the only way you can actually tell is with the Steam charts. They'll show you how many people are playing at the peak or right now or at a given point in time. And there's, 2 to 3 to 4x number of people playing Arc Raiders as they're playing Marathon. And I think that's fine. I don't think that's a problem at all. Some people want the game. They want every game to be like the biggest, the best game. But there's a problem when people never buy any new games, because then the chicken and egg issue, right, is if people are only playing Fortnite, just the biggest game in the world, and they're only playing that, and they're not playing new games that developers put out, then eventually you'll have an unhealthy game industry. And you do not want that if you like video games. So I've also talked about the fact that, especially with Marathon, you can't buy Marathon and expect things to go well for you. You still have to make, your choice as a gamer about what you want to play. Don't try and buy it to support the industry or buy it because you hope Destiny 3 will come out if you support Marathon. It's not going to work that way. Don't try. You just buy what makes sense for you. But it shows some health, right? It's like, okay, Arc Raider numbers didn't really drop. Most of the people that are playing Marathon seem to be some Arc Raider folks, but mostly net new people that are maybe Bungie fans or Destiny fans or fans of just PvP and not trying to get along with anybody that isn't in your crew, because Marathon is a game for lovers of PvP. But there's a lot to explain in a game like Marathon if you're new to it. And as an external processor, I like to explain things out loud. And so for me, game chats are a great way to do it. I can kind of talk about why the inventory matters a certain way, what the classes are like, what it's like to go on a run. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. 3 days into the retail launch, I've been enjoying Marathon quite a bit. And every other run is different. I'll go on 2 runs. Well, I'll get into a decent crew. I'm just crewing up with randos mostly right now. And the crew feels great. Most people talk and they're on mic, but not everybody. Or I'll do some Rook runs. The Rook runs are fun, but the Rook runs are a little bit more like a horror game. It's like being in a solo queue, but it's different because you're not, risking any gear. So the runs for the Rook, I think I'm fascinated by because there is an upgrade path for the Rook. So the Rook in Marathon, if you don't know, is all about you bring in a Rook style gear and you join late into a match. And when you join late into a match, it means that a lot of other people that are in that match have already exfilled or already gotten into a fight with each other or already gotten into a huge fight with the UESC, the computer bots. I made the mistake of calling them ARC the other night and somebody laughed. I was like, well, they're not the ARC. They're not the computer robots from the other game. They're the computer robots from this game. So Chat GPTs, whatever clankers, whatever kind of bot related slur we can come up with is fine. But it can be confusing. The number one thing that Marathon can do is come up with a better name for the computer bots that you have to fight that aren't other runners. Runners is a great name. Hey, you got runners over here. Hey, we got people over here, right? Other humans. You call that out in the game. People know what you're talking about. We got people here. We got runners here. But when you have those bots, they're called the UESC. It's like United Earth something conglomerate. And it's just a pain to say. You can call them USCA. What are you going to call the UESC? It needs a better name. So I just call them bots. Bots is fine. But then everything is so specific in Marathon. The names are all cool. The text about everything that's going on is like, it's got that sauce to it. And it needs a better shorthand name for callouts for the UESC. So hopefully, Marathon devs over at Bungie, if you're listening, I'll come up with a suggestion list, but I think you need something that not just streamers, but just people in your crew can say to call it out. And I don't know what it's going to be. We need an in-universe nickname for the UESC. Figure it out. It can't be bots. That's not enough. ChatGPT, too topical. USCA, no one's going to know what that is. And UESC is too hard to say. So they owe us something. Sorry for the diversion. I just think they owe us a better word because you're going to call them out a lot. And when you hear somebody fighting, you can hear like somebody on your crew shooting the bots and you don't know, like, did they get ambushed by another runner crew? Like, do they need help? Are they in for the fight of their lives? Or is it like one bot that they took down, And so we end up having this, that's like the communication breakdown that I've been finding is that we need a better name for the bots. I can't tell you how many matches I've gone in to explain that. Okay, you thought I forgot about the Rook upgrade. I didn't. I'm locked in. I just had to talk about okay, so Rooks are neat. So when you log in with a Rook, it empties out your inventory and it kind of gives you a free kit, but it's a Rook style kit. And so what comes in a Rook kit is, a basic gun, some ammo, some health packs, whatever. And you can blind the UESC bots from seeing you with an ability, and you can heal yourself. But every one of the factions, when you start to work through the faction upgrade path, they all have at least one, and sometimes two or three rook upgrades. Some people are queuing in solo because they're used to arc raiders. They're like, I'm going to do a solo queue. The benefit of solo queuing is that you can do your faction quests. When you log in as a rook, no faction quests. It's not allowed. The end universe explanation for that is that the factions don't want to sponsor rook kits for some reason. So here are some of the things that you can upgrade as a rook. Who brought us this? Goofsta brought us this, but it looks like Marathon Game HQ came up with this graphic here. So I'm going to read off a couple of the rook upgrades, because the rook runs, if they get better over time, become interesting as something that you might want to do, not just to scavenge things, but maybe a run that's like really powerful. So if you get Safeguard for the new caloric faction, you can start a rook run with a patch kit and a shield charge. Kind of a big deal. If you get proficient with Traxxas, you'll start with an enhanced weapon, because you start with just like a little shooter pistol. Like, it's not great. If you go to Mida and get Castling, rook runs will start with a stack of claymores. Pretty big deal, because you are one of three, one against three if you come up against any other runners, and you certainly can't take down a ton of the bots. If you get boosted with Arachne, you'll start all runs with implants. Those are upgrades of different types. And you can get Boomstick to start runs with the Wester Combat Shotgun and MIPS rounds, which basically means you're ready for PvP combat, because that's what that thing does. So like, you can load in, then you'd be loading it with an enhanced weapon and a combat shotgun with the right rounds for it. Sekiguchi, if you get specialized, your rook runs will start with runner cores. So those are different upgrades. And if you get quietexit.exe, that upgrade, you'll gain the effect of Signal Mask after activating an exfil. So Signal Mask is what keeps your the UESC bots from being able to see you. And when you activate an exfil, it lets everybody in the area know, so they all come running. So yeah, I think it's neat that you might spend time on the rook runs to like make that very powerful. So that's exciting to me. Yeah, the biggest thing that has been kind of controversial is it's like a monetization, even on a $40 game, as a topic. And Marathon launched at the most competitive price point in gaming, according to the GameDB show, which is $39.99. But there's more to buy. And I go over it in the video. You're welcome to watch it. Or if you go to andb.show, you can check it out. Free post. So there's three types of monetization in there. Three? Yeah. There's rewards passes, which has a like non-premium and a premium track. And there's gear that you can buy that are like, kits that are all cosmetic, just cosmetic kits, different skins for the runners and the guns, things like that. And you can buy those with Lux. And you can only earn Lux through cash. So you send your US dollars or your local currency into your local platform, and they will give you some Lux. You can take Lux and buy the cosmetic packs. And I don't know what it takes to buy the rewards pass. Maybe it's Lux or cash. But one came with the deluxe edition because I'm a sucker. So I actually don't know. I can't report on that. And then when you get the rewards pass, thankfully, it's like a battle pass. None of those expire. So they were taking the right move that we learned from Halo Infinite, that we saw in Helldivers 2, that we're seeing in Arc Raiders, which is they all have a slightly different implementation of that. But basically, if you get invested into a battle pass or a rewards pass of some time, it does not expire. Even if the seasons of the game change, the rewards pass is always accessible to you. You could finish it whenever. Thank you. The FOMO that Fortnite and other games do, where you buy a battle pass, but it's only available for 12 weeks, is a huge problem, because then you're like, well, now I can't. I mean, it is the lock-in that creates the game, right? Like that's what happens. Where you can never walk away. You can never stop it, looking at the game or trying to mess with it, because then you'll miss out, which is just a dark pattern. I think it's not nice. Keeps people locked in. Bungie did get a little bit of controversy because of the premium currency, though. Like if you, the pack for like a skin cosmetics or whatever was a certain price, but you had to spend a little bit more than you would get if you bought the Lux. So they said they're going to fix that to where if you buy a pack of Lux, it's going to get the average cosmetic pack and you're not going to have to buy more. So they're trying to fix it. The thing I wish it had was the ability to earn the premium currency. Helldivers does that right. You earn the premium currency through gameplay, just a little bit, not too much. That's the positive side of the dark pattern. The dark pattern is thing costs $10, but you can only buy $9 worth of credit. So you have to buy $18 to get the $10 item, right? That's an extreme example, but it's the dark pattern where you end up having to buy twice to just get the one thing. And now you got leftover money, so you're going to buy more. It's dark pattern, dark pattern. You can flip it just by seeding people the Lux, the premium currency. You go, hey, you earned 5 units of Lux on this run. Great job. Or you found some. This is an extraction game where you gather materials all the time. In Helldivers 2, you would find super credits down there on the planets you drop on. Super credits were the premium currency. So you could buy super credits with dollars, or you could literally find some and then extract with them if you were able to extract. And it didn't matter that it cost, 1,000 super credits to buy the next battle pass or cosmetic or whatever, because you found 5. And you're like, well, if I do that 100 more times or whatever, then I'm going to have enough to buy the battle pass. Well, who's mad about that? And if you, let's say the item costs $10 and you found $5 of free credit, you might go, you know what? Let me spend $5 to get it to 10 to buy the thing. Like that's the reverse of the dark pattern. So got to do that. Yeah. I think that's the way to go. Okay. I feel like that's enough about Marathon. We got a lot to talk about. And we're going to talk about Project Helix. So Project Helix, there's not much to say right now. All right, Project Helix got announced this week. We mentioned like in a prior week that the Xbox camp had a huge leadership rotation. Ashish Sharma is in, the AI-focused internal gaming CEO, and Dr. Phil retired, and they kicked out Sarah Bond, one way or the other. So that happened, and then this week they were like, "Hey, we're announcing Project Helix," and I was like, "Well, I guess they weren't going to give that to Sarah Bond." Which is a little bit messed up to me. She probably worked on it for years, Project Helix, a reported internal code name for Microsoft's next hardware. AMD's semi-custom chip is reportedly on track with a 2027 launch window circulating, which comes as Xbox has leaned heavily into the Xbox's Game Pass and PC. And look, is there really another console coming? Most corporations, especially big ones, have this idea of, they want to recognize often the sunk cost fallacy, which is where you invest a lot of time and money into something. And then if it doesn't make sense to keep investing time and money into, most of us go, well, we already invested so much. Why would we let all that go to waste? Well, it's a fallacy. It's called the sunk cost fallacy. And I'm sure they've invested a ton of money into this next piece of hardware. But if it's not worth it for them to release it because nobody's actually going to buy it, then they should cut their losses. Say that was R&D costs. We learned something and we're not going to launch a machine that we need to support for 7 years. The other option is that we're going to say, hey, we took a lot of you get into like some weird capitalization and tax related R&D credit stuff here. let's say that Microsoft did the R&D for this. So a lot of times they can borrow money and pay taxes on it and amortize it in a certain way over a certain period of time. That's how corporations work. I'm not like a CFO, but I know this happens where they might have gone like, hey, we spent all this money. You can write it down, but a lot of times you have to have an output of some type. So it might make more sense financially to just release the thing and not care about how it does, or maybe not support it a ton. Or as some of the internet theory has gone, they're going to price it through the moon. And they're going to call it a PC that has the Xbox name. And I saw today that some people were saying that it's not even going to run a custom Xbox OS, not even like maybe the boot up screen would say Xbox, but that it's basically just a Windows machine running big screen mode, literally. And it's like, well, if you're going to ship a PC, you're not going to do it for cheap. Not right now, not with AI eating all the data centers and processing and everything else. It's pretty difficult to do that. So it seems much more likely to me that they're going to be launching this over $1,000. I also think the Steam machine is going to be $1,000. I could be wrong. But the Steam machine seems like it's kind of targeting like a mid-level hardware. So I think it's going to be $1,000 still. We'll find out. If I'm wrong, I'll be happy because I'd like to buy one. But if they're going to do a highly powered Xbox and they're not going to like make it a walled garden, if it's just a PC that you could like flash the BIOS on and then have a cheap PC, they're not, they're not going to be taking a loss on that, subsidizing it. The reason the consoles are so cheap is because they're subsidized. And a lot of times, less so nowadays. Nintendo famously always likes to make money, profit on their hardware. That's why they're always a little behind the curve. The Switch 2 looks great, but it's a little behind the curve. You could have put more power into it. You could have, but they want to make some money on it. So Project Helix, maybe it's 2027. If it comes out at all, Asher Sharma might kill it. I don't know. I think it's $1,000 at the minimum. Not knowing anything else about it, $1,000 to $1,500, because I don't think they care about making a console with console exclusives. They're a games publisher. The vestigial leg of like hardware, it's not for them anymore. It's not what they do. They're the biggest video game publisher in the world now. Having the hardware is almost abrasive to other partners they might want to put games on. If they do exclusives, then what does that mean to like Sony and PlayStation or and Nintendo that might want to put their games on there? Like we heard last week that Sony might not be putting any of their first party games that are single player out on even PC. So they're maybe, rumors still, circling the wagons, and saying it's not going to go out further. Whereas Xbox obviously is going the opposite direction. It's going out wider and wider and wider. Yeah. So that's my take on Project Helix. $1,000 or more. If it comes out at all, I'd say there's like a 20% chance it doesn't even come out. I think there's an 80% chance it's over $1,000 based on what we know, which is very little. We'll see. I would be happy to be wrong. As someone who bought the original Xbox in 2001 with Halo Combat Evolved, every Xbox since, and I do mean every Xbox, and outside of like the, special edition, whatever ones, but like I've owned every Xbox and I've enjoyed them for a long, long time. So I'm coming from a good place. I'm not a hater. I just don't like what they're doing recently. If they want to become a games publisher for the industry, that's fine. But if you're going to be a hardware manufacturer of a console, I think you need exclusive games. And those two things, it's like if you're buying or selling a house, man. Like you can get a real estate agent that is selling your house, and sometimes they find a buyer for you and they call it dual agency. And so the real estate agent is representing that buyer and you, the seller. And you got to go like, can they really keep it all together? Or do they have everyone's best interest at heart? Because they're also involved. They got 3 people. Like it's too much. Like pick one, man. It'll be over 1,000 with the way prices are right now. Yeah, Dark Fate, like I called the Steam machine at $1,000 when they did the announcement video. I was like, that's $1,000. Like it's going to be. And that was before AI like ate all the RAM and all the storage, all the manufacturing capacity of the planet for these data centers. So like now it's almost like like if it's not $1,000, I'll be shocked. Steam, Valve said today they're still on track. They still want to they're like, we still want to put out the Steam machine in 2026. That does not sound very confident. And I think they're just kind of waiting for costs and parts to go down. But, it's hard to say. But it's easily $1,000 now. Again, I'll be happy to be wrong, but I'm girding myself for, to be correct. Speaking of being correct, a lot of people that were excited about Pokemon Pocopia were correct that it's going to be great. I do not have this game, but the reviews are in for Pokemon Pocopia, and it's seemingly universally adored. So the concept of the game, as I understand it, is that you are Ditto, and I'm like a Pokemon adjacent fan, right? So Ditto decides that after the apocalypse, okay, this is how the game starts. After the apocalypse in a Pokemon game, what? Ditto's gonna rebuild. And Ditto feels like they miss the humans. And so they shapeshift into a human and decide that they're going to rebuild society and rebuild the Pokemon training and everything else. And Viva Pinata, one of the best games of all time, top 20 at least. I've never made a best game of all times list. That's terrifying. I just said it out loud and I was like, this is a terrifying concept of, this has some Viva Pinata in it. You go, create the grass, create the water, and kind of shapeshift the island. It looks a little bit like Animal Crossing, but to me, this is more Viva Pinata than Animal Crossing, based on what I've seen of it so far. Because when you create the content in the game, whether it's grass fields or trees or wood or water or whatever attracts the Pokemon, you create the conditions for Pokemon X, Y, and Z to show up, and then they show up. That's Viva Pinata. Like that is Viva Pinata 101, actually. And Viva Pinata was a great game. And if you take that idea and you put it in with Pokemon beloved characters, you're probably off to the races, I would think. So yeah, people are digging Pokemon Pocopia. Apparently it's super well reviewed. There's a limited time event in the game right now running through March 24th. More spores for Hoppip, where players collect cotton spores for picnic themed furniture. So if you're making your picnic themed furniture out there, let me know. I can't let my kids know that this exists. It's going to take over the entire house. Got to make them wait for something in life. Maybe birthday, Christmas. Game Informer gave this a 9. It's pretty good. Okay. Yeah, believe it or not, how long is this podcast? So we're 36 minutes in. There's a lot more game to go. There's a lot more stuff, but we're into the quick hits section. So buckle up. There was a rumor that came out around Sony and the Sony Santa Monica that there's a new God of War game in development under Cory Barlog. And there's been a lot of stuff going on with God of War because they did a picture of that new show they're going to put on Amazon, and people were like, that doesn't look like God of War. Why would you make a live action God of War? It looks bad. So we'll see. But this isn't that. This is like a new game under the original. I say the original. I got them mixed up last week on Threads. I was like, it's a new game under the original creator And I was like, well, that's David Jaffe, right? And he's been kind of hating on the latest God of War stuff. But they meant of the reboot since 2018 when they made Dad of War, when they kind of aged him up a little bit and he had a son and a family that he was trying to build, right? So that's under Cory Barlog. So apparently it is post Ragnarok, which is the most recent game. They have the 2018 game. It won't star Atreus, may feel like a new IP, and then it's been around one of the female characters in the game. So I didn't play Ragnarok all the way through yet. It's one of those games I should really get back to. So that's a rumor. I don't know. We'll see. A lot of games coming out this month here on PlayStation, so we can just kind of read through some of these here. We've got, of course, Marathon. Marathon's out. You should play it if you are into complicated extraction video games. And if you're not, maybe don't. Maybe wait for a free play weekend or something, because it's hard to recommend if you're not willing to go through some emotions. Yeah, so let me see. We got Ghost of Yotei Legends mode on March 10th. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, which is like a very violent zombie co-op game. What else for me? Crimson Desert, March 19th. Screamer is not on here, but I got my eye on Screamer. Oh, I guess Scott Pilgrim EX must have come out. I haven't played it. Maybe there's a demo. Yep, so a lot of games coming out on PlayStation and elsewhere. What's coming soon to Xbox Game Pass? There's always something. It drives me nuts when they say it. They go, "It's coming soon." It's like, I try and troll them, and I troll Xbox on Threads. I don't think they're paying attention. They liked my post and responded back, but I wish they would just put the dates on here. So here's what's coming to Xbox Game Pass if you're a Game Pass person. Some game called To a T, F1 25. I think there's like F1 race that went on last night. I got a buddy that's in the F1. Planet of Lana 2. Okay. It's coming to Ultimate Construction Simulator. Just play Roadcraft. Maybe Construction Simulator is great. I don't know. Cyberpunk 2077 coming back to Game Pass because I started playing it there a long time ago. Hollow Knight Silksong is coming to Premium. That's that middle tier. And Gabby's Dollhouse, ready to party. That's for the kiddos. Yeah. So those are your Game Pass games that are coming soon in March. The whole Sony tongue twistered. The whole Sony shunning the PC with their single player games basically was and has been a rumor. It did make it out to Bloomberg, and Jason Schreier wrote about it on March 4th. And he basically wrote about it as like, it's happening. Like the Bloomberg takeaways bullet points says Sony Group Corp no longer plans to release its big PlayStation 5 games on PC, returning to console exclusivity after 6 years of multi-platform releases. Hey, we gave it a shot. The old college try, the old med school try. Med school's 8 years, right? 6 years worth of putting these single player games out there. They're still going to do the online games. You need people playing those. But, why bother all the effort when it doesn't make sense? So I guess that's confirmation. Like, I'm not sure that it's officially confirmed. I trust Schreier's reporting. Like, I've been listening to him, reading him for a long time. We're still in quick hits. Highguard shutting down. I think it shuts down this week, March 12th. Go get your platinum if you're going to get it. Pour one out for Highguard. Apparently they had some interesting and difficult problems where they were kind of running out of cash at the end. They're like, if we don't release this game now and get some revenue coming in, we can't keep everybody on the payroll. So they released the game in the state that it was in. And I think it made it a month, 2 months, something like that. Not a lot. If you are a Nintendo Switch Online person, there's more stuff coming to the expansion pack. So it's the Virtual Boy games, which I don't have a Virtual Boy like headset adapter thing. Maybe I'll buy one, but it's mostly bad. However, the very first Mario Tennis game we learned is the one that came out on the Virtual Boy. So if you were into Mario Tennis Aces or the new Fever one that came out, The Virtual Boy one is the first one. And Mario Clash for the Virtual Boy, also coming to Nintendo Switch Online, and Mario versus Donkey Kong. So those are all there. They keep adding games. Big fan of all those classics getting added. Some people will say it's like, oh, like I can just go get those ROMs. It's like, I don't think you can get the ROMs of the Virtual Boy game. Maybe you can. I don't know. Speaking of extraction shooters, The Division is hitting its 10th anniversary, and they're doing it. Like they're doing a re-release. They're doing something about the anniversary versus nothing. Nothing is what they could do, but what they decided to do is mark the decade of looting gear, taking out enemy factions, and saving what remains of New York City, one tactical fight at a time, by putting out the 10th anniversary showcase. And I can't look at that video without entering in my birthday, and I'm just going to skip watching it. But it's going to have, it's a definitive edition. So both games, all the DLC, and if they price it right, I'll pick it up. Because The Division, I think, had the first extraction mode that I had ever heard about. You go into this dark zone, you find exclusive high-tier gear, and then you have to do the extraction, or you can kill the other players and take their stuff while they're trying to extract. And I never played it. I played The Division, but I never was like, my brain couldn't wrap around the idea that I would go into a zone, potentially lose the gear I found. Like, I couldn't even imagine it. And now that's all I want to play. That's all I want to play is a game with all these stakes. It feels like, at least for multiplayer. For single player, I want things to be straightforward and exciting. And speaking of a single player game that is exciting, but maybe not super straightforward, is Crimson Desert. So last week's episode, a week before last, had Crimson Desert in our hero game slot. But I have to read you this headline. Crimson Desert dev is sick of having to repeatedly deny hiding console footage, as some fear another cyberpunk console launch situation. Let us cook. This comes to us from IGN.com. Apparently, despite how great all the footage and everything looks from Crimson Desert, it's all PC footage. And though the game comes out on the 19th of this month, nobody's seen any console footage. And that was, analogous to what happened with Cyberpunk 2077. You saw this amazing looking, ray tracing PC footage. And when you booted it up on Xbox, that was not what you received. Some of the quotes that are in there are like, hey, I guess the developer, they've got like a liaison here in the US that speaks to games press and media here. And he was kind of fussy. He's like, I don't know why people keep asking for the console footage. You got to trust us. You got to do all this other stuff. And I was like, you know what? I think you're protesting a little too much. If you really have the goods and it's going to run well on console and there's nothing to worry about, then don't fight. Just go like, can't you wait? Aren't you excited? Can't you? It's going to blow your mind. Like, you either believe in it or you don't. And so for him to get fussy about it is exciting to me. Not that I want it to be bad. I don't want it to be bad, but I do think the drama of him like going like, you need to stop asking me questions about whether this video game looks good on console. It's like, now I want to ask more questions. I'm more interested in whether or not this is a crap show behind the scenes. Speaking of crap shows behind the scenes, not really. It's not a good segue. But when this launched, Assassin's Creed Unity was a crap show. One of the best looking Assassin's Creed games is getting its 60 FPS update on PlayStation and Xbox. So, it was one of the best looking, like baked in lighting games at the time, but when it launched, it was just a disaster, an absolute like crap show. Looked terrible. In bugs, it had a lot of bugs. But like it looks really, really great, actually. And still looks great. The just being able to see, ancient medieval Paris, like it looks real good. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll probably re-download that. I think I have to plug in my Xbox for it. I think that's where I have that game. Assuming I still have it at all. Maybe it's on one of these free services. Maybe I can download it or one of the game catalog services. Yeah, 60 FPS patch there. And then the other thing that happened is that Black Flag Resynced got confirmed. So the dev team put out a little note. If you were looking for Black Flag, they said speculation around Assassin's Creed is not new, but it's worth repeating. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. Well, except in this case, some whispers have a little more wind in their sails. Keep your spyglass on the horizon. So that is related to Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, and they put like an official image out there. So yeah, that's one of the best Assassin's Creed games. I'm curious, like, are they going to remake that game, or are they just going to remaster it? Remaster would be okay, but I'm not going to go back and play the remaster. Like, I'm good. I played that game. It's a long game. There's no way you're going to get me to play another 60 hours of Black Flag if it was exactly as it was, because there's too much other stuff going on. Yeah. Okay. Two last quick news stories here. This podcast is getting long in the tooth, man. People don't get tired of me talking too much, but sometimes I get tired of me talking. I installed a new break button in the show. So if I need to do a BRB, I've got the option now, even when I record it live. But I don't want to have to take it. I picked out some really cool music for it though. So someday I'm going to hit the BRB button on this show. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to be great. PlayStation Network has been showing different pricing to different people. Coming to us from Kotaku, among other places. A user saw the price of Assassin's Creed Unity increase upon signing into their PSN account. So that's kind of where it started. They're like, wait a second. I saw it on one price, and then when I went in, it was a different price. So apparently, this is how it got started. I'm not sure that is actually happening, but now there's a lot of news stories out where they're saying, oh, we are testing A/B pricing. We have a lot of data on like who's using the PlayStation Store and how they're using it. And we're going to use that data to try and get people to buy more games. But that so far, they say, the reporting that I've seen outside of this Kotaku story says that it's only going down. So if you log in and Marathon's $39.99, but you personally log in and you're like, oh my God, they got it for 10% off just for me, they say. Special deal just for me. That's not going to upset anybody, I don't think. And you might go, thank you very much. I appreciate the deal. Like maybe you're on the edge. There's all the data about how people play these games or, buy or don't buy games on their store. And, I think it's fine. So long as it goes down. If you log in and your price is more, dark pattern, disaster, they better not do it. I would be so mad. So my take in that, without knowing exactly this person and their screenshots and validating some Reddit post, that's not my job, is that they probably were like seeing the price in one region. And then when they logged into their actual region, it was the price that was correct for their region. Because they'll do regional pricing all the time. How are you going to stop that? You can't. But if they're testing it to go down, why would you be mad? They're still going to do big sales. This would just be targeted. Like, hey, we think if we drop the price just a little bit, just for you, based on your patterns and purchasing, wouldn't you like a special deal? That's not any different than Amazon or anything else. I don't think that's a problem. Okay, we're ending the news stories with this. There's a video game called Cozy Game Restoration, a soothing simulator where you meticulously bring classic video game cartridges back to life. I saw this one from Alpha Beta Gamer here on Threads. And take a look at this thing. Take a look at them restore. If you're listening to the show, you can't take a look at it. I'll describe it to you. It is a kind of top-down isometric game. You're staring at like classic video game cartridges that are filthy, that have been sitting in a box somewhere for years, that have all kinds of goop and dirt. They've been sold and resold. They've got stickers everywhere that are, from when they got priced at a flea market. And you're taking little cotton swabs, putting a little bit types of alcohol and goop removal. You're using little toothbrushes to clean off all the dirt of your favorite classic video games. They have a bunch of like made up video games that like look real. They look like, the old N64 cartridges. They look like, the type of art that you would see from a Super Nintendo cartridge. I don't know. I hope this game releases. It almost looks like Nintendo should take a look at it. I'm not a narc. I'm not telling Nintendo to go look at it. All I'm saying is that like you're looking through using they show in this small little trailer like an infrared light and a UV light to see like where fingerprints are. Is there a story to this game? There doesn't need to be. Grabbing a little bit of charcoal and putting it on a toothbrush and scrubbing out the cartridge. This is I did some actual power washing this weekend at my house, trying to clean it all up, and it's very satisfying to do power washing in the Power Wash Simulator. Turns out it's very satisfying to do it in real life, but if you don't have a bunch of old video game cartridges sitting around, you might not, and the know-how, this might be the best way to get the satisfaction of restoring old games to make them look great. Cozy game restoration. There's no game that I want to know about more about how I get it on my Nintendo Switch, on my phone, anywhere I can have. I need someone to inject this into my gaming life immediately. Just wow. Yeah. Okay. We've got to like speed run out of this show. I got so much more content. Guess what? I'm not going to talk. I'm going to cut. I always cut some stuff from the show as we go on because like I got laundry to do. I got the rest of my life to do. You might be doing laundry while you're listening to me, but I have to go do the laundry. So there's only so long I can make the show. I try and make it a reasonable length for me and for you every week to keep it exciting. So I'm not going to talk about Forza Horizon 6. It's my first time telling you what I'm cutting. Just the way the show's gone on. That comes out May 19th, 2026. They showed a trailer with a bunch of gameplay in it, but it was just them driving around on IGN with like no events. It was fine if you wanted to see a little bit of it, but just okay. There was a rumor out there. This is not me cutting it. I guess I'm going to say it because it's just a rumor. Fallout New Vegas is maybe being remade by Iron Galaxy. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, I guess I'm only cutting the Forza thing. I do want to show you this. There was another indie game that got shown here. Blinded Oracle over there on Threads kind of brought this to us. The Eternal Life of Goldman, a beautiful hand-drawn platformer with an incredibly fun bouncing cane gimmick. You play as Goldman, a hero whose tale is being recounted by the mother of an ill child. I'm sure that won't make us sad later. Anyway, it looks like a cool platformer. Neat design here. Kind of like very Cuphead as far as the hand-drawn nature of the art, but more modern, not like that classic like 1930s art style, just like super detailed hand-drawn. Looks beautiful to me. Yeah, that looks super interesting. So I'm going to keep my eye on that. I think that one came out of like the Steam demos that are out there. It's a free demo. I guess the way the Steam Next Fest works is you get demos, but only for a little while. But most of those come out on PC, and I run a Mac, so I can't be a part of all of them. It's okay. I don't cry myself to sleep at night over it. I don't want a Windows machine in my house. Thank you. Yeah, that one looks cool. I'm going to keep my eye on it, though. They do say it's coming to PS5, or the reporting I saw out there is PS5, Xbox, Switch, and PC. So hopefully it comes everywhere. We'll see if that's true. They've been showing it since 2024, so it's got to be coming soon, right? Okay, the last goofy one that I wanted to show. There's just a bunch of these little games. I think they're all coming from the Steam Next Fest show. This one came to us from Culture Grave. There's a new trailer for indie game. There are millions of goblins with 50,000 goblins all simulated at once, Players drive vehicles and can defeat 1,000 enemies in a single blast. It's Twisted Metal meets 3D Vampire Survivors. It's made by just a small group, 2-3 people, it sounds like. And it's the kind of thing, you know how they used to show, when they would show new consoles, they would be like the PlayStation, they'd be like, oh, here's how many ducks we can throw into a bathtub, and the physics simulate with it. And with the PS2, you could put in, 150 ducks in this bathtub, and that was cool. And now the PS3, it's like 1,000 ducks or 10,000 ducks. This looks like one of those demos, except you can play it. You've got a crazy truck that blasts through these weird goblins that are after you, a bunch of guns. It looks insane. I don't know what else to say about it, except that it's called There Are Millions of Goblins, and you can wish list it on Steam. I hope this one makes it over to console. Or put it on Mac. Maybe I'll play it on Mac. Yeah. Gosh, it's been so long. I almost don't want to push it off one more week. It's been weeks and weeks since we've done this segment. I should really get back to that game. We're going to do it. I got some games queued up. If you don't know, I should really get back to that game is a spreadsheet that I keep. It's technically a public spreadsheet. I just haven't sent the link out in a long time. But it's a game that's got 56 games on it. I got 5 more here to rank, and it's the likelihood that I'm going to get back to that game next and play it as a grown-up, as an adult gamer, somebody that's got a lot of other responsibilities, but also likes to video game. Sometimes I just keep a log, a list of things. Pretty organized person. And my top 5 is kind of what I care about. And then the rest of the list as it grows is like this interesting historical artifact to me. So my old top 5 is about to get replaced because we've got some games I've been playing lately, and then we'll reorganize a couple of things. I'll try and make it interesting. The new entries that are coming into the game today include Cat Quest 3, Marathon, Monster Hunter Stories, the first one, not the third, second, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, and Unicorn Overlord. You've been hearing me talk about some of these games. Some of these games are the kid games, and they're very likely to get played again because my youngest bees like to play them. So I would say that I'll probably play Cat's Quest 3 before I play Carmageddon Rogue Shift again. And this is how the list works. Like if I think I'm going to play that game again soon, then it goes up at the top. And then the list kind of sorts itself. I'm going to play Marathon before I play anything else. Actually, Cat's Quest 3, I've made a promise to my youngest bee that I'll play Cat's Quest 3 today. So Cat's Quest 3 is taking the top spot over Marathon. Take that, Bungie. Monster Hunter Stories. I played the demo of this. I downloaded it. I think it's neato. I'll probably play it before I play more Carmageddon. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is very similar to Cat's Quest 3. I'll probably play it after I play Marathon again, though. One more to sort, and that's Unicorn Overlord. So this is a great single-player game. I've been enjoying it a lot. I'll probably play it before I play more Arc Raiders. I'll probably play Everspace 2 after more Arc Raiders. And let me just take a quick look. Is there anything else in the top 10 or 15 that I want to move around? No. Okay. Hey, we did it. It's been a while, but we have a new top 5 games I'm likely to get back to next on my list. I should really get back to that game. Number 5 is Arc Raiders. I got a buddy that I play with. He's been out of town. When he comes back, he's probably going to want to play some Arc Raiders. I'm going to try and talk him into Marathon. But he's going to want to play some Arc, maybe. I'll probably play that. Unicorn Overlord, definitely. Like if I'm not playing a multiplayer game or game with the kiddos, it's probably that one. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Cat's Quest 3. Those were our number 3 and number 1. And then number 2, only because I made a promise to my child, is Marathon. That's our top 5 games, and I should really get back to that game. It's been a while since we've done that segment. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out for this one. Okay, we're doing emails, as you may know. You can send me your emails. podcast@andb.show is the email address. If you send me an email there, I will read it. And I may read it live on the show. And we started this segment 3 shows ago, podcast@andb.show. And we've had emails every week. No emails this week, though. However, we did get some show feedback and community spotlight. So I'm just gonna take a pull quote. I have a new patron. And so this is for just a little pull quote from our latest friend of the show. I didn't ask them if I could share this. I'm not sharing the whole thing, just a little bit, because I see this as show feedback that I would like all of you to hear. It was so affirming to me. They said, "I truly love what you're doing, creating the show. It's such a calm, chill space. You have a very unique way of explaining everything. And it's like a late night radio show about games." I love that. "I try to jump into any live I see, and I've gotten lucky. I don't have a lot of time, but I love what you're doing. Ever since I saw a random short on YouTube, I've been hooked. Please keep up the amazing work. Thank you, Dark Fever 09. Appreciate you giving me that feedback of the show. I hope it's okay that I shared it. I didn't ask in advance, but the show feedback there, like I've gotten this feedback about this show, about the way that I explain things at work and everything else. It's like, oh, you're just very calming and chill. You just bring like a stabilizing presence to things. And so when I see this, I know that that's like real feedback for me. And so my tip, the thing that I'll give all of you, if you're listening and you have imposter syndrome, if you're not sure if you should do something, if you're good at something, if people that give you compliments, are they real? Are they sucking up to you? Do they need something from you? If you're somebody that can't trust it when you get a compliment. I was there for a long time. I always thought that people that told me things that were nice about me, that it wasn't for me, that it was like that it had a secondary motive, that it had, that maybe they just didn't know whether I was really good at it. You know, you can go like, oh, he's really great at riding a bike. And it's like, I'm just a dude, you know, I'm not like a Red Bull athlete riding a bike. I'm just a guy. So here's a rubric that is useful for life, which is when someone gives you some feedback about something that's positive or challenging, we could talk about that too, but just let's focus on the positive. You should thank them. Take it as sincere, at face value, and then write it down somewhere. I keep a little album like in my iCloud library where I'll take like a screenshot of that thing and I'll throw it in there. And it's called like my win folder, my feel good folder. And you can go back and look at that later and go, oh, am I getting some of the same type of positive feedback? What are the themes? Like what matches? And when you get enough of it, you go, okay, these are not from one person that needed a job from me. You know, I was doing an interview and they wanted me to hire them, so they gave me a compliment. It's like, well, I don't know. Do I discount that? Like they really liked the way that I conducted the interview. Like, okay, like that. I would say that too if I really. How do you know it's real? You'll see patterns. So when I've seen patterns over the years of people that enjoy interacting with me, hear me speak about things, hear me explain things, I go, that's real, because I'm seeing it from a lot of other areas. So I don't mean this to discount the feedback I got. I just go super validating, warms the cockles of the heart. I know it's real, and it gives me additional motivation to keep creating something for everybody else that likes to listen. So part of this is for me. I do this show in part for me, as somebody who loves video games and has loved them for decades and decades, and also to bring something that's, I run a clean show, kind of family-friendly show. If my kids ever watch it or listen to it, I'd like that to be something that they could do. Some of the podcasts I listen to are not family-friendly, right? Like I'm okay with it. I'm an adult. I'm a grown-up. But I run a clean show. And I want it to be a gift for people, you know, something that they can enjoy while they're out doing their chores or, running their errands or driving across the country to, pick up a family, whatever they're doing. So thank you for this beautiful feedback. And I hope that the rubric of like, take all those compliments that you ever get. And if you don't get a lot of them, you discount it more. You know, if people don't say nice things to you often, then you discount it even more. And it's like, wait, no, that's gold. Like, go grab that, write it down, and go review it later. Thank them. And then give somebody a compliment. Let them know what you appreciate about them, you know? Yeah. No, you're the best. Thank you. Yeah. But we had a packed show, didn't we? Absolutely packed. Maybe one of the best shows ever, because it's the latest one. Thank you for being a part of the show. Go to andyb.show to join the Patreon for free or subscribe to be a friend of the show. Thank you to all of my patrons out there. You really give me extra motivation to keep going. But look, I've said it before. I would do this show whether anybody listened or not. I'm glad people are finding it and enjoying it. It means a lot to me. What are you playing this week? Is it Marathon? Are you getting ready to find out if Crimson Desert is fooling all of us with a Cyberpunk 2077 launch? Or is it something else? Let me know. Write in. Link up. See you out there across the internet. And next week on another episode of The Andy B Show. Thanks for being here.